And one of the things we're doing is we're looking at the overall data sets that we can gather that give us an understanding of how ecologies create, how you can create microclimates through this design process. So how can you actually buffer a climate event that hits you? So whether you're in Florida, whether you're in northern Uganda, whether you're in Madagascar or you're in Denmark, you know, there are just different ways that you can buffer the events that are happening that are so extreme right now. And so building those buffering systems is really crucial. So looking at, you know, nutritional uptake in plants and how the micronutrient uptake in plants creates pest and disease resistance, but not just in the plant itself, but also in the people. We're looking at how well-placed hydrological stabilization structures and the forests that we plant with them can buffer extreme events that are moving through a landscape in these crazy climate times that we're in. I always loved when I was with learning from Bill Mollison and spending time with him that, you know, he said, you know, this permaculture thing is not about going into pristine landscapes and doing permaculture. He said that will make me livid and upset. He said, this is not what permaculture is about. It's about using the design science to actually shift degraded landscapes into something that's bountiful and vibrant and in balance. And that's really the work that we're doing. And a lot of the ways we're bringing in science to even look at the metrics around biodiversity and the influence of our work on biodiversity. We have not ever run into the situation where there wasn't the resources locally and organically to actually provide what's needed for a really robust, productive system. Yeah, I mean, start at home. I mean, that's where your biggest impact and influence is yourself. And, I believe humans, we have opposable thumbs and we have this unique brain and we have this ability to work in a landscape in a way that can be so life-giving. Yeah. I believe we have the tools, and our gift as a species is land stewardship. So many people think that we're just a scourge on the land. Yes, because we're actually using the tools of stewardship as a weapon against the landscape, and oftentimes in ignorance because we're not in relationship with our sustenance. Yeah. And I think that that's something that is really important, is to step back and say, how can I be a steward of that which sustains me? How can I be in an honorable relationship? And just start with one thing. Take one thing and just do it and take it all the way through. And you start to see there's more and more areas that you can start to be in relationship with. And when you're in relationship, you then have responsibility to it. It's when we stay in this place of ignorance that the global economy often keeps us in, where we don't have the relationship with the threads of the shirt that I'm wearing right now, that we are not really able to take responsibility for it in a profound and real way, tangibly on the ground. Yep. One thing at a time. And I find if you try to do it all at once, it's overwhelming. Those of you who are interested in getting into this work, I say start at home and really do this well at home. And when you do it really well at home, start doing it in other contexts around your state and around your region. And it's funny, when you start doing that, it will come to you. Like, there will be opportunities coming to you where they'll say, oh, can you go and do this in Swaziland or in Zimbabwe? And you'll start to see that people will start to come to you. Right now with Resilience Design, we are in exponential growth and we don't have enough trainers. But to become a trainer isn't you just come through a training. It's a long-term mentoring process where you have to get skills on the ground and you have to be working in different communities, different climates. And it's something that takes time. And yet there's an opportunity for permaculturists to step into this, especially if you come with humility and you come with this knowing that you are going to learn more than you could possibly bring. It's not about saving the world. It's about being a part of the world in a life-giving way. when you start facilitating this, the farmers you work with will know if you have dirt time or not.
Yes.
They know. They just know. And if you come in, like many agriculture people come through agriculture training, they do their graduate degrees in that, and yet they don't have a lot of dirt time. The farmers know, and they'll look at your hands and see what calluses you have. They'll see what you're noticing, and so it's something that's actually really valid in this work.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's your starting place. So you preface that perfect, Jesse. The next thing I would look at is getting involved with an organization that's community based.
Mm.
So this is an organization that has a relationship with the community, and it's usually longer term. And what that means is that you can come in and support them. You can learn from them how they're integrating in a community. Every community is different, just like every landscape is different. And so how the protocols, how you can be relevant. I mean, I've done work where we're working with Maasai people in central Kenya. And if you don't wait outside the village and be invited into the village where they sing you into the village, then you're not relevant. And if you just walk in and say, here I am and I have this for you, which a lot of NGOs do, a lot of organizations come in and just say, hey, this is what we're going to do for you.
Mm.
They say culturally, if you weren't sung into the village, that you are not actually there, that they're actually dealing with ghosts, and ghosts are dangerous. When you start to do this more and more with a very grounded organization of people in a community, that carries with you when you go to other communities. I know that sounds odd, but it is. When you have that and you've been doing that for a long time, you can step into a community and people recognize that you're there in a different way than many of the other people who aren't from there come into their community. And so I think that's important. Another thing to look at is, where are projects happening that they're looking for someone with your skills. So that's something else. So, if you have skills in earthworks, for instance, there's a lot of desire for that. Or there's you've done intensive household designs with biodiverse food systems. That would be something that there are organizations looking for guidance on that. Our training, I think, is a really great place to get good the resilience design training, to get good experience in a refugee community where you're also exposed to 20 other organizations while you're doing this for 2 weeks and living together in this setting. So I think there's a lot of different ways to go about it. Follow your heart, I think, is a big one. Really think about how your gifts in the world, where to give them a home. And if you have given them a home where you live, then you're more qualified to go out into the world. I think since the very beginning of time, each of us has a gift that was given to us that no human has ever expressed. And here it is in this lifetime, we have this gift to express. And I think it's up to all of us to help each other find what those gifts are, and that they truly are part of what's life-giving in the world. They're a part of a healthy ecology. And so it's really up to all of us to find that and nurture it and express it. And I thank you all, and I look forward to crossing paths someday, doing this good work of creating more life than what we possibly could take from this world. And I think that's really at the core, is being a part of leaving this world a better place than what we came into it. And that takes work. You can't just sit back and not do anything. And so how we do what we do has to have our gift woven into it.
It's been completely transformative. I mean, I went from thinking about business and the world in a certain way, and kind of overnight, it's just the permaculture goggles get on you, and for some reason, it very quickly came to me how I could make a difference